Hello! Welcome to the vlog. I'm Michelle. This is me talking about stuff. Because I never really do an intro. I just feel like, hi. Stuff happened. Yay. So yeah, I'm not good at intros. Sorry, as you can see, I have showered today. My hair's all lovely and soft. It's still a little bit damp, which is why it's darker than normal. Smells good. Smell that. Smell that. Good, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, it's Saturday. Not a whole lot to report on. I didn't think. Okay, so if you ever done this, like you say, all right, I'll do the laundry overnight. I'll do it overnight, and it's ready for the morning, and then I can just sort it all out, and it's out of the way. I can spend the rest of the day. Yeah. Okay. I knew I was going to shower, and then my partner was going to go out do something today, but then he didn't, so I was kind of like, oh, I'll get the laundry done out of the way first, overnight. I'll wake up and it'll be done, and I'll jump in the shower, I'll get myself sorted out, and then by the time that's all happened and himself will be home, and then I can get on whatever else for the rest of the day. Yeah, that didn't happen. Well, first of all, he didn't go away, which is, it's fine, he doesn't have to go out. It did mean we sat and watched the first few episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've seen like the first 12 or 13 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and basically what happened, I was watching them live. I think it was Channel 4 that was broadcasting them, and then it was the Christmas hiatus, and I thought I set my recorder to pick them up and carry on taping them, but it didn't, so I completely lost track. I have had them on Blu-ray for a little while, and then I sort of haven't sat down with them. This is the first time I've sat down with them like for a while. So I'd seen like the first few, but like at the time he hadn't seen any of them, so he's kind of intrigued by it all. Yeah, so that's gonna be cool, and because I've got both Amazon Prime and Netflix, it means I've got access to the, I don't know if they're all ABC, but I've got access to the Netflix Marvel series and the non-Netflix Marvel series, which I think covers me for all of them. I'm kind of curious, I mean, because I've heard so much bad about Iron Fist. I'm interested to see Jessica Jones. I want to see Agent Carter. I've seen things that like season 1's great, season 2 not so much. So yeah, the fact that Iron Fist is supposed to be like the bad one is intriguing to me, and then obviously the Humans is supposed to be the really bad one. So that's curious about that one. And then I think I saw something about Runaways. I think that's part of the same universe. And then I saw an advert for Cloak and Dagger, which I know very little about. So yeah, I saw the first, I think the very first episode of Daredevil. I don't know what's the second one. Daredevil was simply curious about because I had seen the Ben Affleck movie, so I knew a little bit about the character from that. But otherwise, it's not a character I'm completely au fait with. So yeah, that was I enjoyed that episode. I enjoyed that pilot episode. I did mean to watch more, but because at the time I was doing it on the websites and stuff, I'm like, oh, it's a bit hard to watch, and like the screen's a bit darker. So now I can watch it big screen on the app. So yeah, so that's it. There you go. I'm watching Marvel television. Finally catching up with all that. But yeah, the movies. There's the questions in here. Should we see what today's is? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing, not just waffling. Oh god. Alright, this is one of those because it's a book rather than an actual vlog, but write a paragraph or more about a time when things turned out completely different from what you were expecting. Good question. I guess it depends. So I guess for that one I'd have to think of an incident, think about how I thought it was going to go, and then describe how it actually went, and I mean, not really a paragraph worth of stuff, but there's been like you sort of, when you're going to a party or an event of some description and you have just a vague anticipation of how that might go or how that might play out, or like the people that you know are definitely going to be there and who might not be there. So I think that's kind of a general thing of like, oh well, I'll see this person and maybe I'll
dance with that person, or well, won't get too drunk, or I'll get completely arsed, or maybe the food will be good, or maybe the food will be bad. And then you sort of go there and it's like, oh, okay, this is what it looks like, and you know, oh, this is a building I haven't been to, oh, okay, that's nice, and you know, that's so party expectation. I think that's a not necessarily one you can sort of say for sure or definite, like, oh, I'll do this or that. I think it just is. It just is. I don't know. Like, excuse me. Like the last convention I went to. Or any convention really, but we'll stick with the last one, the Sherlock one. You always have an idea of like, oh, like if I get a chance I'll say this or I'll ask this question. The one, actually I can talk about that a little bit, because the last time I went to a convention, I think it was a Wolf event. It was for, I think it was like a Gen Con, so it would have been SFX. And I don't know how long the company that ran Sherlock have been doing it. I was talking to a few of the yellow shirts, and yeah, they certainly, a couple of them definitely had some con experience. So that's, individually they had a lot between them, but as a collective, I don't know if this has been done before, because when I had been to the other conventions, now the first time I went to anything like that was a Q&A session for Michael Shanks. It was at the Radisson. I can't remember which hotel that is, you know, airport that is, and I think the room was like, at most, I'm not good at judging people, but at most maybe 200 people. It was a very small little room, and it was one guy with a microphone running around the audience, sort of tapping people's shoulder, like, you're next. All right, cool. So that was a small room. The next one I went to was a bigger hotel. It was a much bigger room to do it in. It was like a proper big hall, and yeah, you're probably looking at a couple of thousand. Again, I'm not very good at judging numbers, but significantly larger numbers of people. And they were like, that's okay, so we've got, and you've probably seen this on other convention videos as well, when people are doing Q&A sessions, they're like, depending on the size of the room, we've got a mic over here, a mic over here, and maybe one in the middle, depends on the size and setup. And then you people queue up. You know, the moderator or the person will usually go, okay, you, or you, like, depending on if you've got things. So they'll alternate between the two microphones, and then depending on the questions, depending on their answers, you just, you know, you walk down the thing. So as long as you got up and got to that queue sort of fairly quickly, good chance of getting your thing. And then if you're in the queue near the back, yeah, unless there's a lot of rapid fire, you can sort of expect the fact you're not gonna be picked on to ask a question. What they did here, and again, it was a big old hall, there was a lot of people there. Two that we managed to get to the talks were the Moffatus talks, the first one, and obviously the Benedict talk, Q&A. And they were doing the run around with like the couple of people with a mic going to people who had their hands up, and you just like, got your hands up forever, and it's like, oh, fuck's sake. So not necessarily an expectation subversion, but definitely something I hope they fixed for the later conventions, because no, they've proven it's a much more, I don't know if democratic is the right word, but you know, if you don't get up and into that queue quick enough, then you're like, oh well, fair enough, I didn't get up quick enough to go stand in the queue to ask my question. But if someone's not coming towards you to ask you, to have you ask the question, it's like, no, because your arm's starting to hurt, it's all this stuff, and you think, well, why is this person getting picked up? No, you should have microphones, you know, 2 or 3, or maybe even 1 if it's like a small enough room, but have it so, you know, bosh, okay, your turn, cool, we're covering everyone, and anyone who's who wants to ask a question is in the queue, and they can ask the question, and that's great, and you look cute, and oh hi, but nice to see you again, and you know, like someone in the middle, fair enough, but yeah, you do it that way. So I wouldn't necessarily call that an expectation subversion, but it's kind of like I remember leaning to Adam, I've been to conventions with that's way better. And I was talking to other people in queues and stuff, like, well, we're getting our photos and autographs and that. It's like, yeah, I didn't like the way they did that, and they agreed that they've been to other conventions where they had the microphones that you could queue up at, and it was a much better setup. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that kind of answers the question. A time when things turned out completely differently to what you'd been expecting. I guess, yeah, because I was expecting that as experienced convention, you know, like, because it was Excel, so they've had conventions there before. Well, that's where SFX was. And the fact that the people, the attendants, you know, a lot of them had some experience between them. So you think, actually, yeah, I was expecting it would be a little better. I mean, on the other hand, to flip it around the other way, it wasn't on convention time. Again, if you, for those of you who don't know, convention time is basically you get a written schedule of when everything's going to happen, and then basically throw it away because that's not what's going to happen. No, this was like, as far as I'm aware, the talks, Q&A sessions, the things that were supposed to happen on this time and this time happened on that time, or as close enough to it to not worry about it. It wasn't like you had a knock-on effect. So, you know, if you're a minute behind in the morning, you're like an hour behind in the afternoon. It's like no, it's they kept it all tight. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so on the negative, you've got they could have done the Q&A sessions a bit better, but on the positive, they didn't suffer for convention time. They actually had a good grip on the schedule and kept everything moving pretty fast and kept everyone in check. So yeah, there you go. Two things that subverted my experience or expectations. And yeah, and like I said, you know, when time you go to a party or an event or a place and you kind of think in your head, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, and then it happens differently. But I think that's more of a universal thing. But yeah, alright, there you go. More microphones in conventions. You know, set them up and let people queue. There you go. So, oh yeah, I'm on Twitter and I'm here and my hair keeps going over my eye like that. It's supposed to be quite artistic, but I don't like it. So yeah, thank you for watching, especially you, because you're awesome, because you stuck to the end. Yeah, I've been Michelle, you've been listening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!